Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to H&D Abroad. I'm Herman, and she is Dee.
Surprise! I probably have about 30% of my voice. So I've got a cup of tea.
And we're gonna spill some of it out today.
Absolutely.
Uh,
If y'all can hear me okay, if this is like really irritating, let me know and I'll just hand this over to H. But well, I might need the fan on.
Okay. Mostly I'm just keeping her nearby so she can say that's not true. She can wave. So if you see her pointing and waving, she's gonna be my on stage mime today. Hold on one second.
Okay, so I see that our besties of Ecuador, Stephen and Lashon McKay, are on with us today. And this trip to Cuenca could not have happened without Stephen and Lashon. I want to publicly say thank you. And I'm not just talking about, hey, tell us about where you live. These were people who were like, we will help you hunt down the 8 different altitude sickness medications into the night. We will make sure you are well fed and happily vegan fed on this trip.
They explored with other places they hadn't been. So, so if you don't know us, we are H&D Abroad. Again, I'm Herman and this is Dee. We are explorers.
Yes, who are eager to land. Will be landing mid 2025, and we've been talking to people who are leaving, and most of them have already left the States. And this is our year to show you all how we get out the door.
So we've been sharing in the past other people's experiences and incorporating that into what we would learn once we make our move. This year, you will see more about us making our explorative discoveries as we make our decisions. And I think we're closing in.
Yeah. So our whole strategy is to find a base. Mm-hmm. Okay. So a country where we've got enough time to bring a few things, and then we leave those things outside the US because we've shut down our life there. And then we travel to the places we've always wanted to, but not had the time to take off of work, mm-hmm. or the money, frankly, correct. To get there. Correct. And so lowering our cost of living will increase our quality of life. The quality of life conversation is going to be this Wednesday, mm-hmm. when we take a look at the places we visited. But if you're interested in any of this, we are headed out the door in probably no more than 8 months.
We ask that you first of all, that you like this video. We're here. We see all 14 of you all peeking in. They're already hit like. If you're watching from the future, like it right away because it's a great video. Other people have watched it. They've proven it. Subscribe to our channel. Become a part of our community. This community is what has been our growth experience along the way. And we'll share some of that here with you today. And hit the notification bell. We usually go live every Saturday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're on Sunday today because we were in the plane yesterday.
All of our travel has been set up.
Has been Saturday these last several weeks, and we'll explain that more. But we go live on every Saturday. Dee goes live on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I do some Man Mondays. Hopefully I'm going to do more of those coming up. And Man Mondays at the same time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So first, shout out to all our people. There's Sean and Steve from Living, Loving Abroad. Dr. O, good to see you. Wonderful. Intentional Metamorphosis. Our friends, man. Rob and Elise. Those are other community people. Let's see. Beijing Alpha 4 is here. Good to see you here this morning. Pamela Jones is here. Oh, we got Beijing Alpha 4. Yeah. Pamela Jones is here.
Hey, you know we love Mexico City, without a doubt.
And as always, Jice is here in the house, as he says, from his station on Gen X Quench. And as you all come in, please let us know that you're in here. To give you shout out in the chat. If you're viewing us from the future,
hello from the future.
Hit hashtag replay and drop us some comments, because we respond to all the comments. Usually within a day, usually within a few hours, but usually within a day. Because we like that interaction, because this is
a conversation.
This is not just me and Half D talking today. This is us having a conversation together.
Hey, Dr. Linda.
Dr. Linda and the Luxury Bucket List. Good to see you all here today.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so first I want to start with a geography lesson. Okay, so we have not been lower than Mexico, the country, in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of countries in Central America. The last two countries are Costa Rica and Panama before you get into South America, the continent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was our first experience. Ecuador was our first experience in South America. We weren't quite sure what to expect, but we did use a couple of resources that we always talk about on this channel. One, if you're not a geography buff like I am, I would get out a map so that you understand some of the distance conversations that we're having, the proximity conversations that we're having around, where things are located. And so what we love about Central and South America is travel is no more than 4 to 6 hours from the States. Even in Cuenca, where the second part of our trip, we actually flew from Cuenca back to Guayaquil.
Mm-hmm.
If we had flown from Guayaquil back to the States, that total trip would have still taken us about 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're thinking about being in a place and needing to still get back kind of quickly, back to family or to take care of business, Central and South America are ideal for that.
Mm-hmm.
Even closer than what Europe, like Portugal and Spain, which of course y'all know is my other heart place. And so the geography of it also is being aware that on this part of the trip, it was going to be our highest elevation.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be the coldest place that we, weather-wise, coolest, I won't say cold,
yeah.
the coolest place we were visiting in Central and South America on this trip, but also that the weather, because of the elevation, Cuenca is over 8,000 feet above sea level. And if you have been near the mountains, the weather can change pretty quickly. We have shown you guys on Instagram, looking at our balcony and there's the mountain and we can tell a storm is coming because you can see it brewing right on top of the mountain. And so, but because Ecuador is also positioned kind of in a bowl in the valley and the mountains surround where you are, you can have weather that changes throughout the day. Mm-hmm. You may also have, and thank goodness for ChatGPT, if you're not using ChatGPT to plan, to evaluate your quality of life, what are they, not must-haves, your you can say these are the things that are important to my move, and I'm considering these areas. Put the differentiators in chart form on ChatGPT. It was a game changer because it helped us with packing. We knew before we got to Ecuador, we needed to find some rain gear. And so we're using a lot of these tools to prepare, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the vibrational connection to Cuenca. So I don't want to get into that. I do want to start with thank you, non-negotiables. Okay, this is why you have community. Your non-negotiables, you can tell ChatGPT what your non-negotiables are, and they'll tell you they'll give you a comparison chart with some places to show how favorable they are. You can have it help you to rank it. So we knew that Guayaquil was the location we were going to have to fly from Panama City to a large city. And so Guayaquil is on the coast. And it was as hot and as humid as Panama City.
So we were prepared. We were hot.
Yes. I did not put my sweatshirt on.
Didn't put it on. Hold on. Hey, Professor LCH.
Happy New Year, love.
Happy New Year. Yolanda.
That's my sister. Hey, Yolanda.
And Miss Mocha Mama, good to see you all.
Welcome,
Make sure we give all the appropriate shout outs. So when we get there, we get to Guayaquil at 7 o'clock.
About 2:30 in the afternoon.
That's right.
Yeah.
We get about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's sunny. It is hot. Now, we had been traveling since early in the morning. So we took a little time to try to pull together something to eat. Airport food is always a challenge, especially for Dee. But
I found a salad, and I took, thank goodness that Elise and Rob let me microwave some things. So I had a few things that got through customs.
You need to understand that Latin America, they are meatitarians.
Meatitarians, yes.
Meatitarians. So it is a meat and three, and occasionally one of those three might be some form of vegetable. And it's not that I don't think they're against vegetables. I mean, because vegetables or produce is heavy in the stores.
Yes.
But when you're at the purchasing restaurant, it's a slab of something.
Your fast food, your
casual dining,
fast casual,
It's a slab of something and some rice and maybe some beans. That's a meal.
Yes.
So we found a little something to eat, and then we made our way to the transportation area where we were riding. So we had decided that we would take the shuttle over the mountain into Cuenca.
What I did not do, and y'all know I'm a planner. Somehow I had estimated it was only going to take us an hour and a half to get to Guayaquil. I know Stephen and Lashon should be laughing us to shame.
Steve texted me that night before and was like, "What time are y'all landing? Because it's a 3.5 hour ride." And we were like, "Oh." So we get on the road around 4:30.
Yeah.
4:30, close to 5.
Yeah, 4:30, close to 5.
And it was maybe 3, 6. It's like a 9-passenger van, 12-passenger little van, not including all of our luggage and things for people who are traveling. And we head out on the road. Now, the young brother who was driving this van was not playing with it.
He was hooking.
And we left in the sunshine. We get up these mountains, and we are looking down into, when I say a deep basin,
beautiful valley.
I mean a deep basin down into the valley. And eventually we're looking down at clouds. So,
and then the weather starts to change.
Yeah. So
about 2.5 hours in, you do get a restroom break. usually when the weather is clear, and maybe it's clear earlier in the day, you can actually see over the ledge, over the cliff.
All we saw
it's
was
beautiful.
clouds. And our host, LaRahna, told us that we were roughly at the height of Mount, say it.
Machu Picchu.
Thank you. I can never say
The
it.
highest point was about 14,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
So we're going from sea level 14,000 feet up.
So we're having,
when we say don't visit Cuenca before watching this, 2 days before going into high elevation, high altitude, you should start hydrating.
2 days minimum.
Yes, you should start hydrating. Hydrating, for me, I normally drink about a gallon of water or more a day. It's just because I exercise, because of things, that's what my normally, no. You need to.
Fish level.
You need to add electrolytes.
Correct.
To your hydration regimen. So whether that is adding something like Himalayan pink salt, or this is what I actually had to buy to help with hydration. But they are they're packets that help you retain water and use it effectively, because what started to happen is, just like in an airplane, there's ear pressure, and then there's also pressure in your chest as your lungs are trying to catch up.
Now I have been
with the thinning of your air.
I have been to some elevated places before.
Denver, Mexico City, no problem.
Even in Canada, I'm up in the mountains above the clouds, but I started having like severe sternum breathing problems. I was having to lean forward in there to catch my
feeling
breath.
nauseous.
I had feelings of nausea. And we had been drinking water, but it was not enough, apparently. And when we stopped,
lemon and lime, y'all, right. I'm telling you, you need to. Thank you, Dr. O. Yeah, I'm new. So your red blood cells are how oxygen. Give you a little biology major. Yeah, your red blood cells are how your body is oxygenated, and if your body needs help. So if you have anemia, if you have high blood pressure, y'all take it super seriously. Yes, coconut water. Yes, coconut water. Because I'm monitoring my carbohydrates, coconut water at the amount that I would need to hydrate has too many carbs. And so I have to look for alternatives. And so I can tell you, after learning how to better hydrate, Stephen and Lashon can tell you, I could not get out of bed when we arrived. When I started hydrating with the electrolyte replacement, I felt 50% better just from hydrating. So nettle tea is something else, or nettle tablets can help you with circulatory. So if you're on a natural, we're trying to make those offers, but prepare for the altitude change before you go to Cuenca, for sure.
So I know somebody's asked this question, so let's bring it up. Yes, dad jokes right here. Yes, it is truly breathtaking. So I know someone is asking, can I fly in instead of riding the bus?
And we flew out.
So the reason we did not fly in was because?
Well, one, I wanted to, it's a beautiful ride, y'all. I wanted to see Ecuador. And I thought this was the best way to see it. And y'all, it really is. We cannot wait to upload those photos and videos that we took. When I say we saw horses grazing in the median, beautiful banana trees, banana plantations.
As well as people selling like crates of fruit and vegetable on this road going up this mountain. And the funny part about it is there were some really high-end restaurants hidden in these little cubbies along the way. It was really a great ride. And I think two things, if we would do, we would prepare better for the altitude, but we also would go earlier, because
earlier in the day,
because we ran into the darkness, which also I think by the time we got to the end of the trip, it was raining. That did not slow down the driver. And I mean, he was taking the curves that it felt like 90 miles an hour. He probably wasn't, but he was hooking.
Yeah.
And what we learned, our ride was 4.5 hours. And the reason may have been is...
they had to take a detour.
They had to take a detour. We'll talk about weather in a minute, but there has been an influx of rain after a drought.
Yeah.
And so there possibly was rock slides and mudslides. And so they took a detour, which made that ride a little longer.
But for a 3.5 to 4.5 hour drive, the shuttle was $12 for 2 people.
24. It was 12 each.
Oh, it was $12 each. So when we compare that to, we had a check bag that we did pay for on the flight back. The flight back on LATAM Airlines was $206 for 2 people. So, and the flight was 45 minutes versus 3.5 to 4.5 hours. So we wanted to do both. I had to actually get medically cleared to fly because my blood pressure was really high. And we'll talk about a little bit more details about my experience with altitude sickness. So if you have questions, I'm reasonably an open book about that. Oh, hey, Diamond. Oh, y'all, Diamond knows Ecuador. And yes, boots on the ground. You need your people. Okay, so this is a really good question. So I had considered having home infusions if what I was trying didn't work, because I was feeling horrible. I had started feeling a little bad before we left Panama. And I think that's just the cumulative, even wearing masks and things like that, your body, y'all, we're over 50.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so I ain't been traveling 5 weeks in a row for an extended amount of time, place to place like this, with different climates and altitudes, and being exposed to hundreds and hundreds of people in a while. So so I had started to get sick and pulled out all the home remedies, oil of oregano. I was gargling with salt water. I was using honey and eucalyptus, to help with my asthma, really trying to, help my lungs to be relaxed, knowing that it was going to be challenged. I had not considered getting home infusions, but those are really inexpensive. Nikki sent me in Mexico that she could have home infusions for, I believe it's $30. They bring the whole setup to your house and we'll do it for $30. I can only imagine if you were in Cuenca that the clinic staff could do it, and it would definitely be probably about half of that or less. So yes, liquid infusions are definitely a way to kind of quickly onboard, so that your body is well hydrated before you leave, or if you need it when you get there, that the doctor, the clinical staff can make that available to you.
Even if you are properly hydrating before you come, and you have your electrolyte water or drinks, I would still recommend your first day or two. Come with time to spend. Go to Cuenca with time to spend. And then your first day or two, take it slow.
Yes.
Because we were struggling straightaways. We were like, okay, we're handling the walk. Yeah, I can feel a little breathing. You climb 3 stairs, 5 stairs, 8 stairs, and everything changes dramatically in your breathing, in your ability to manage the space. Don't come gung ho and end up falling out, passing out somewhere. It is truly an altitude adjustment. Most of us do not live in that kind of altitude.
We spent, the first time we visited Mexico City, I think it took us about a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were able to go in and out and do things,
and Mexico City is
scheduled regular times for rest.
Mexico City is 3,500 feet lower than Cuenca.
Yeah.
So
grace, give some grace to your body,
right?
For it to adjust. Where Diamond, the Gallivanting Grandma, is doing their co-living cohort in 3 weeks is the same place that we stayed. So what we're describing is we stayed on the 4th floor. And so we had luggage. There is no elevator. You got to take a break walking up and down those stairs. I forgot my umbrella. We were waiting on the taxi, and I said, "Oh, we left the umbrella." I was like, "Baby, we just out here," because going up and down the stairs was not. I'm in decent enough shape, but you add elevation, and and already feeling the effects of the altitude, even for people like Stephen and Lashon that have been there for 3 to 4 months. They've been there 4 months. They still, in their home, have to slow down going up and down the stairs. So just being aware of that. So
how is the medical infrastructure?
Okay.
Let's jump ahead because it's important.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm ready to lean in about the healthcare because I took full advantage.
So we spent quite a bit of time, gracefully, thankfully, we spent quite a bit of time with Stephen Lashon of Living, Loving Abroad, who's on with us today.
If you all want to know more about daily living in Ecuador, because they were initially in Salinas and now they're in Cuenca, please go ahead and like their channel. I'll make sure to add them to the description of this video.
Right. So we're sitting there and Sean says, let me contact my doctor and see if he can come see you. It's like
11 o'clock
it's like
at
10,
night.
11 o'clock at night, right?
Yes.
And he responded that he would come. And the first thing the
this
next
is
morning,
a home visit.
Right, that he would come to our space to see us.
On New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want you to understand the context in which we are sharing. Okay, he said we could share.
Yeah.
He gave me several business cards, so I'm gonna drop the details because he gave me permission, and we're gonna share a little bit so you could see the interaction.
So Doc comes to our place, and I'm gonna backtrack back to that in a minute. But he comes to where we're staying, and at 10 a.m. New Year's Eve, and does a thorough. He was with us almost an hour.
Yeah.
He did a thorough exam,
history and physical,
history taking, and prescription write-up that he sent to me through WhatsApp so that we would have it all in place for a total of $30.
So I had questions. I have my pre-existing health conditions that I'm managing, and now I've encountered this new thing. And because we went with someone who people that we trust have trusted this person, and he came because of his relationship with them, I felt that the interaction would be respectful, it would be thorough, because I know Lashon is not willy-nilly. And so when you, as a Black person, in the US are asking about, can I trust the healthcare system? When I'm talking about infrastructure, I'm not just talking about, are there hospitals? There's a medical school. A lot of the medical training that happens in Ecuador, they come to Cuenca and do their residencies there at the medical school. And so I have a lot of confidence because of the professional preparation and because locals recommended it. It was affordable and accessible. And I'm talking about, if you've not been to Central America and South America, you think CVS and Walgreens are on every corner. There are 2 or 3 on either side of the street. There's probably 1 to 2. I mean, there's probably 1 pharmacy for every 2 or 3
blocks.
Human people.
Yeah.
And I mean, the accessibility, the hospital, the major hospitals, there are at least 2, I believe, that we saw. We actually went to the main hospital because I was having difficulty finding one of the medications. And so I need that kind of infrastructure for just my pre-existing conditions. But to have something like this pop up, the doctor said my blood pressure was high enough that he felt that I was at risk for stroke or deep brain thrombosis because of how my body was struggling. And so,
you want to tell them what your blood pressure was?
It was very high. It was higher than when I started taking blood pressure meds. So it wasn't in the 200s, but it was closing in.
Yeah.
And so I could feel it. Y'all know, if you having a headache, having pressure in your chest is not normal. And so those told me what I was doing to maintain my blood pressure wasn't working and that I needed to act fast. So before you go to Cuenca, if you have pre-existing conditions, especially things like high blood pressure, don't do what I did. I did not bring my blood pressure cuff. Duh, I should do that. But I bought one while I was there. I had to shop around because they were trying to charge me $70.
Right.
And I found one for $23 at a pharmacy. So that's the lovely thing about having pharmacies nearby, is you can price compare in a reasonable area. So when I talk about medical infrastructure, you have that. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That definitely makes, and then your doctor answering a WhatsApp. Yo, and if you don't know that,
like regular, like we didn't have to wait hours for him to respond. He was responding to us like he was holding it in his hand.
Yeah.
And this, Aisha, you're telling the truth.
Yes.
Once you've been treated like a patient and not a number. Oh man. And
he said, he was checking on me after I left Ecuador. Yo, I mean, that's.
He texted me back this morning. We're not even in Ecuador anymore. He texted me back this morning. I sent just an update. He texted us a response this morning. He simply could have left it.
Yeah.
He texted me back this morning, and we have left the country.
So
okay?
I'm just saying, by the end of that conversation, I was like, can you be my doctor?
And this,
so
Nikki, hey, Nick, this is true because Lashon and Steve met up with us and rode with us. Okay, so I went walking because I knew all the little pharmacies were nearby on New Year's Eve, and the pharmacies were open. Some of them are as small as this little space in between this bookshelf, in this bookshelf. And they did not have some of the medications available at those little spaces. And so the lady gave me a recommendation to go to the big hospital pharmacy. So I walked back to where we were staying, and I say
we need reinforcement.
I say let's go, but call Sean and see what she says. And she says, get on over here. And they packed up and they took us pharmacy hopping for hours. several benefits of that were they were able to do some of the communication we weren't able to do. And they used their cedulas, where places they wouldn't let us use our passports, so that we could continue the transactions of the medications. And we literally walked around town checking pharmacies. That's community.
Yes.
That is community. That's how getting in this chat and hooking up with people so that they can help you make these moves. That's a big deal. And so we go. Yes. I'm gonna jump right here. This one right here,
baby. Let me tell you, my sister.
This one right here.
There wasn't. Okay, so I meant to bring the tea. So LaRahna had coca tea waiting on me.
So let's back up.
Waiting on us.
Yes, let's back up, because you may not know LaRahna. So let's back the story of just the touch.
We have video to share.
We get off the mountain, we drop into town, and we realize that we had to better find out our communication on getting to where we stayed. We stayed at LaRahna's place called the International Welcome House. Did I say that right?
Yes. And there will be a link
and video on that information.
Yes.
So LaRahna at 9:00 at night sends transportation for us to bring us to where she is, to where we stayed with her. She did that for us.
Yes.
Okay. And made sure that we paid a fair price to get to her. And a fair price, we were probably 25 minutes away, $6. 6 bones. Okay.
For a ride share.
Her place is gorgeous. And I have a whole video in time with this.
Several videos. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Okay.
Yeah.
And she gives us the what to and the what for over the next couple of days that she's there.
She invites us to the Mercado, visit, and tells us about the people. She shows us how to be respectful in our interactions, how to shop and engage, and how that picture, if you didn't see the community feed about today's live, I put a picture of our grocery haul, which was roughly between $12 and $13.
Outside of what she did not post with that vegetables, I got half a chicken. The total price we may have paid may have been $15. Everything you saw on that picture, 3 avocados, 3 mangoes, let's just stop there. 3 avocados, 3 mangoes, half a chicken. Plus all the other things, all the other vegetables, we may have spent total of $15.
Yeah, fruits and vegetables. I mean, and I'm talking about they're not reselling produce. This is produce, their produce. I have never seen carrots so green. I've never seen Swiss chard so green and vibrant. Like, I left it out and it was still healthy, vibrant.
I didn't use the Swiss chard for like 4 days after we bought it.
3 days.
And it was still ready to go 4 days later. The produce was top notch. I'll post some pictures of a few things that I made, but we're talking about, y'all know that's my happy place, right? And we're talking about every time I was cutting into these vegetables, which I left sitting on the counter, and they didn't rot on me. They didn't go bad on me.
But you got to use them.
LaRahna, publicly,
thank you.
It was a great opportunity in learning, and it just, community is more than just, hey, we got some people to hang out with. It's people to provide you informed information. I met with one of her contacts this morning, who provided me some insight, not only to Cuenca, but to where we are right now in Medellin. And you'll hear more about that. But I wanted to double back to that because that was important. The
International Welcome House is a great spot to land in.
For peace,
temporary
quiet
housing, yes. her community space is most excellent. I also want to say we did get, while we were at the airport, we did get the mobile plan. We got a SIM card, a physical SIM card. Now
We probably
it
paid
works
more.
till it works,
Right.
doesn't. And so while we were in Guayaquil, it did work well. Once we got to Cuenca, he didn't realize he needed to turn off the turn off his unit and turn it back on.
The ride through the mountains, if you got that kind of coverage, you need to hold on to that kind of coverage, because everything was dead going through the mountains. And I had to reboot my phone, reinitialize my phone. But
so it was $5 for the SIM, and we chose the $25. I think it was $25 for the month.
Correct, for 30 days.
Yeah. So $25 plus $5, $30. They put the SIM card in. He tested it. All his messages started coming in. So we had them do that right there. Baggage claim is, you see the eSIM on your way to baggage claim. So we were able to get all that done even before going through customs. So we were really glad we did that, because I didn't have any access with our regular T-Mobile plan. And so I was even able to hotspot off of Herman's phone.
And we may have used 2/3 of the data, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a worth that to have that connectability.
Yes. So please do not go to another country without. We survived because we weren't really trying to talk to anybody in Costa Rica. We used our Google Voice we were in Panama, because except for talking to the kids, we weren't really trying to communicate or move around. We knew what we were going to be doing and making contact. So we opted for that to get a SIM card, and it was well worth it.
Yes, Dave. Geet. I made a roasted mango chicken.
Yeah. So he's got the pictures to prove it.
Yeah. Definitely.
LaRahna's place is an excellent. I don't know. Does she want me to share the detail? Anyway, she will do short-term rentals in her community space for a very reasonable cost.
We'll put her contact information.
Yeah. So, and the details will be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing, and that's where the CoLiving cohort is going, and she has them quarterly. So she's got several of those planned that Diamond's gonna, and then we're gonna be there.
And living, loving abroad, I'm kind of glad that we did still, because of the, as you said earlier, the day night. It was a crazy day night, and the opportunity to have that when we got there helped us to move through the process.
If you have a cedula, as my understanding, there's some things that you can do, or there's some special rates that you get with the mobile plan that you can get with the public transportation, which we did do. And so, yeah, you have a lot. It's worth the investment if you're going to be there a while, to look into if residency is, because you get a lot of access with that cedula.
Agent Grateful, of course. And that's why we're coming to your house next. Get the sheets ready. Am I hearing you? Is your phone turned down?
Yeah, it's turned down.
Okay, I thought I heard the speaker. Okay, yeah. So let's see. We're coming at a lot of things, a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So don't visit Cuenca without having your palette ready for some of the best out of the kitchen flavored food. Nobody's bringing, you don't have to bring your seasonings to the table, your hot sauce to the table.
And we're talking about local flavors and non-local flavors. We hit it. Steve and Lashon took us to an Indian spot. They took us to a Chinese restaurant. I had my first empanada. No, I did not get an empanada in Panama or Costa Rica, but I had an empanada in Panama. We were hitting the places. Oh, I had my first torta. That's a sandwich. And these people, you need to throw all your French fries away.
And they're baked goods.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, French fries.
You need to throw all your French fries away.
I'm the potato girl.
At all the places we went to, French fries, potato wedges, the works. Yeah.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
Fast food and regular food.
If you are a foodie,
yes,
Cuenca could be on your list.
Could be on your
list.
If
you are a culinarian and want fresh food as a part of your preparation, literally farm to table, that I feel very confident in sharing that.
Now, having said that, we also had a chance to visit some of the supermarkets, some of the grocery stores.
Okay, so, I was not ready. We're going to talk about the quality of life stuff, so I don't want to get too deep.
Okay.
But you all saw the haul. You all heard. We got a table full of fruits and vegetables and beans, parboiled beans, because that is my primary source of protein. But at that altitude, you can't cook beans on the stove without either a pressure cooker or an Instapot. And so we bought parboiled black beans and black-eyed peas.
And yes, they had
for the new year.
They had black-eyed peas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you buy them parboiled. It still does take a little bit of time. Don't put salt in them.
Okay, so
until they are completely done. The salt should be for flavoring, not when you're trying to cook them down.
See, I knew I had no business cooking the beans. This is the bean lady. And because they were parboiled, I thought, oh, they're already, mostly cooked. I can go ahead and season them now. I did the black-eyed peas first. And those black-eyed peas cooked and cooked and cooked. And we took them off the stove. And the next day I cooked them. So when I put the black beans on, I did not make that mistake. And they were literally done.
Probably within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So altitude impacts cooking time.
Mm-hmm.
It also, you would need to do the equation for if you were going to bake. Mm-hmm. It also, so you may need to use some additional leavening. And so some of that is a trial and error when we go back.
Hey.
As you can hear, even with all the health challenges I faced, this is a place I want to go back to. Mm-hmm. And so just kind of being aware of, we enjoy cooking for ourselves. And the doctor, in addition to giving me medications, also encouraged me to continue with a low sodium, low cholesterol diet. Mm-hmm. And as you know, salt and cholesterol can make the blood vessels more rigid, mm-hmm. which if I'm already experiencing higher blood pressure or difficulty breathing, that I want to, I want to be careful of that. And so cooking at home is important. So you definitely want to be considering those things. But I think that the next thing, get the kind of like what we said in Panama City. There is one card. I took a picture of the orange booth where you can get the one card to do the bus, the tram, the different forms of public transportation. Go ahead. You can get a card with the cedula.
Mm-hmm.
We got this little, what do you call that, QR code receipt
Mm-hmm.
that allowed us to use the train that crossed, I think it's north to south
Mm-hmm.
or east to west. One of the ways the train crisscrossed Cuenca. Don't just take the low cost ride share. Take the public transportation. We saw a lot of things. We got to see people movement. We got a chance to,
Mm-hmm.
I think we got a chance to see more of the city because we took the public transportation. But get this, how much was it?
Oh,
The bus was
the bus was 30 cents a person, and if you're a local, and if you're a local, it's 35 cents a person. But we rode the train for $1 each, and I mean, you're not getting on a train nowhere for $1 to ride across town. I mean, and it was a smooth ride. It was that the bus ride is they ride with their hand on the clutch. They cutting through town in roads the width of a refrigerator. They putting that bus through those little streets. But I think once I got adjusted to how to sit in the chair properly, because I was sitting in the chair like I was on a free ride. Once I learned to sit in the chair the way I was supposed to,
it's cobblestone streets is what he's describing.
Right. But I mean, we're not talking about dangerous driving. We're just talking about the impact of a vehicle on on those streets that are built like that. Yes, it rides like a couch.
Yes, it was a smooth train ride was.
It just needed the little button on the side to kick your legs up.
So what I also wasn't prepared for was just jaw-dropping natural beauty up close.
Correct.
So
not far from the distance you have to go to.
If you're on Facebook with me, I did a reel. I'll probably share it to Instagram as well. But you could see right across the street from LaRahna's place is a beautiful park. And then just beyond the park that I could look at from the kitchen window was one of the 4 rivers that flow through Cuenca. And then just beyond that is the mountain. So because it sits in a bowl, all the way around you, up close and in the distance, are mountain ranges that are just beautiful.
Yeah.
Watching the sunset and the twinkle of the lights from the homes and the
embedded in the mountainside. I'm going to post several videos of that.
It's beautiful. And then to turn around and go to the mall, like big time mall across town.
Yeah.
It was just, it's like, it's rural living and urban living all just meshed together. It was beautiful and unexpected. I did not expect. I was expecting a small, kind of like a town.
Right. No.
Cuenca is not a town.
No.
When you can see just miles in front of you, up the mountain, spread out throughout the valley, I mean, it's and that's we were probably just inside of the what do you call that? The highway corridor.
It's got a town feel.
But
it is obviously big city. I will say this again. I said this when Steve and I were on earlier this week. The stereotypes, the misinformation,
throw it out the window.
Of wherever you live, of the country that we live in, the indirect lies that are shared with you. Costa Rica, Panama, Ecuador, here right now in Colombia. We can't wait to show you with this. major cities. If you close your eyes and somebody brought you here, you would swear you were in any of the major cities that you have in the countries that you live in. It is top-notch quality living, high-rise buildings. And we're not talking about excessive industrialism, but we're talking about all the amenities. If you want Starbucks, it's there. If you want McDonald's and Burger King, they're there. If you want Taco Bell,
if you want high-end Whole Foods kind of, what did they say? Kiwi is like that. That's one of the grocery store chains.
But if you want to be engaged,
but Super Maxi
in the community
is my jam. If you want Walmart level shopping, what was it called? Coastal. What was it called?
Coral.
Mm-hmm. Coral is like Walmart. If you want access to those kinds of things, but you really want to live simply, you can literally live just like that in Cuenca.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so amazed that I've taken that for granted. Like, I was like, if you want to live in a big city, then you have to go to these big cities. What I'm finding is that the cities are kind of like Mexico cities when we learned about the different colonia.
Man, Mexico City is New York.
You've got big city, but you can also have quaint, small town feel. It's like we're in Laurales, but we're going to oh shucks, y'all, I'm just getting it in my head. Escondido, I think that's what it is.
What you said to me earlier.
Escondido, which is more like a small town, but it's all in the same city.
Right outside this window here in Medellin is a major grocery store right across from where I'm looking. Directly behind it are super high mountains and townships going up the side of the mountain. It is, we have lost touch with, you can live big and still be connected, not far from nature. We had in our little town, I'm watching the farmland and the trees and the be gobbled up by development. I mean, gobbled up by development. Here, they're making space for it.
LaRahna, we're going to share the brief interview we did with LaRahna in person. She says in Ecuador, you can sue on behalf of Mother Earth. You can sue for the protection of Mother Earth. That is unheard of. When I realized that Panama City is also, the rainforest actually is a part of the city, which explains some of the climate shifts and changes that happens because they've integrated city as with respect to the rainforest. We don't know how to live like that in the States. Mm-hmm. We don't understand how to respect a space. How we're in Costa Rica waiting on the bus. Behind the bus stop is a workout area. So you can, and a little jungle gym for the kids to play, to use energy. It is integrated into the everyday lifestyle. We saw it in Panama. We saw it in Cuenca. Y'all, it is not normal to only have a gym membership where you can go and work out. These cities are built for the integration of healthy living.
I did my high school years living in Miami. Most people know that the Everglades are South Florida. What they aren't aware of is the Everglades truly extend up through parts of Georgia, into what is known as the Bayou in Louisiana, because most of that has been drained and tapped and developed on top of. The actual, when Ponce de Leon came to Jacksonville / St. Augustine, came to St. Augustine, the oldest known city in the country. When he came to St. Augustine, they couldn't get out of the boat because of the amount of water. And it was called Florida because of the floral and flowers that were growing in the area. That has been overrun. I watched that while I was a teenager in the very late 80s, early 90s. This is people living in the middle of nature and incorporating their life of nature into technological advancement.
Same for Mexico City. How can you have rivers? And it's literally blowing my mind that you could have super developed and preservation of the natural resources coexisting in the same space, where they're not wanting for the ability to generate dollars in Mexico City, but they don't. The way in which nature disappears in the States, I don't think that they operate in a similar way. I'm not saying that these places are a utopia for Mother Earth at all. What I'm saying is you should experience the difference. One of the things that we, in the videos where we've talked about Mexico City, and I'm going to use this Mexico City as an example, baby, they will leave the tree and put the sidewalk around it before they dig it up and tear it down. In the States, that's gone. It's gone. Because they don't want to, and that's when we talk about walkability, it's nature. You are in the way of nature, not nature is in your way.
Celeste, community is two things. We talk a lot about community here because of this format in which we've built, give and taken from this community that we have. And we've utilized this community in our travel experience. As you've heard us say, a couple of weeks ago, we were in Panama. We spent time with Intentional Metamorphosis, Elise and Rob.
With Aisha.
With Aisha from Abroad Ability. We've been with LaRahna. We stayed at her place. We spent some time with Lashon and Steve living, loving abroad.
These are people we've never met in before, but right. Because of many of our common interests, like being in a place or doing the move abroad process, trying to find like-minded people who are saying there's more to experience in the world, making those connections virtually is important.
In this space, community is bigger than that.
Yes.
Okay. Because we are integrating ourselves, hopefully, we are integrating ourselves into the lives and cultures of the original people who these lands are cultivated by. I purposely don't say owned by, because unfortunately colonialism is okay. Somebody was there before you got there. It is why I have an issue with the whole squatting and all of that. And that's another day. But we're coming to respectfully share space with people who, hopefully through our respect, allow us to share that space with them. I was ordering at the restaurant. My Spanish is equivalent to 0, but I know some things here and there, and I was trying to respectfully order a dish. And I said to the guy who knew a little English, I said to him, "I'm so sorry, my Spanish is really poor." An older lady was standing next to me in line, and she turned to me and she said, "At least you're trying." And it was a double-edged statement. It wasn't just, hey, at least you're trying. It was also, at least you're trying.
And our community,
it was a statement. It was a
that.
statement of appreciation. And when we effort into respect, community becomes not just the people we know and meet and we're going to see them and hang out with them, but we are moving into a community. It's equivalent to moving into a neighborhood that isn't yours, that you haven't moved into before. You got some connections there, but when you get there, you also don't just hide out and try to change the space. You're not gentrifying the space that you're moving into.
And not just that, like in the States, we've shared on our channel, we built a house, moved into a neighborhood. Your neighbors tell you, share with you when the trash runs. You can isolate yourself because that's a lot of us live very independently in the US. But getting to know your neighbors means that other community aspect. What can I expect from a local experience? And I want to operate in a similar way, because I'm not trying to live independent of, or I'm not trying to recreate what I left in the city that I'm in. Community is helping me to understand how you do things where you're going. And so making the connections before we leave virtually with people helps. And then when we meet in person, sometimes they point us to people who can help us to get a tour or find resources for housing. So we talk about Stephen and Lashon. Because I lost my voice and I was under the weather, we did not get a chance to meet in person with Judith and Duke. They also are content creators that live in Cuenca. Explore
Diaries.
Yes, Explore Diaries is their YouTube channel. And so they've been sharing, those real estate videos and just sharing how they are living their life working and living there. And they've been there for 3 years versus Stephen and Lashon that have transitioned to Cuenca in 4 months. And so when we talk about community, we're literally talking about the virtual. I meet people who are, all of us may be on our own individual journey for wherever we're going in the world, but it's nice to have people who understand the emotional, the financial, the social, and the various aspects of moving abroad. But it's also good to have connections with people, other couples, other women, Black women. That has made a huge difference for me.
This is a big statement here by Agent Grateful. This is old school.
Yes.
If you listen to, if you pay attention,
even the Bible.
If you can say you listen to the Bible, they're walking by picking olives, picking fruit off the trees as they go. This is a we concept.
Yeah.
Even though the last statement here by LaRahna, even though they don't create a profit, because we are taking care of each other.
Yes.
We are all a global community.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the vibe in these Latin American countries has been increasingly.
Yo, I just want to shout out, I don't know if we did or not, but I'm gonna do it here. I'm more connected, and I've seen other people say this, I'm more connected to the move abroad communities that we are engaging more than the physical communities, the neighbors I have in the States.
Okay.
I never thought we would have a 25th anniversary party, but guess who put it together? Our friends in Panama City. I had the best time with people I had never met, But when you have something like this life shifting process happen, and you are open to connecting with people in a new way, it's real interesting to find out when you have more time and give intention that these experiences can give to you sometimes with not because you can give, but I give back because I have been given. And I think that reciprocity happens when you are rediscovering. Because community, if you understand indigenous populations, okay, indigenous populations, that the we concept is very interconnected. So you'll see grandparents, children, and grandchildren walking together in peace here.
Playing. Okay? No. Dogs not on leashes that don't walk up to you, that don't bother you, that aren't barking all over the place, that when their owner starts moving, the dog makes its way to where they are. And we're talking about walking up and down streets and dogs are there and quiet and
the teen fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. But the across from LaRahna is you can play basketball, but you can also play soccer. And the dad was out there. Kids were practicing soccer. I don't see kids at play. Yeah. So when I'm looking at a community and deciding, is this my place? Those things matter to me. I see what is valued. I see that families are valued. Baby, this gray hair is coming in handy. Hey, on the train in Mexico City, the front part of the train is for mothers and children. Come on now. You get on the bus, you got gray hair in Panama City, they get up for you. They will allow you to sit. Miss Evelyn told me that. I was like, okay, I ain't gonna die. I don't have a Donna like Tabitha Brown, but I'm just saying, to be able to be in cultures in communities where you can see their values on display that are not directly connected to how this can be profitable in some way, and see local governments invest in that way.
Hey, listen,
I'm ready for it.
Your brown skin is not out of place.
Hey,
it's not looked at crazy. Okay, they might be trying to figure out your hairdo or Steve and looking at his size, but they're not. Your brown skin look like a lot of their brown skin, like their cousins, sisters. Okay, neighborhood is different from community. One is proximity, the other is relationship.
That's right.
And that is,
yeah.
Watching people doing their own thing in somebody else's house.
Be discerning when you are watching these videos, because a lot of information is being shared about places. Move with intention and respect. And there are content creators who are showing you that they move with intention and respect. Aisha's Abroad Ability channel is showing how I can connect with the indigenous cultures, and not just because they're over there, but how do I move with respect and saying, yes, they're playing their music loud. You know why? These people have joy. These people know how to celebrate. And if you got a problem with how people celebrate, then maybe this isn't your place.
Absolutely.
When I hear expats calling the police on the people, the local people who are celebrating, that's a you problem.
Hey,
not a community problem.
That's a you only problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting to know it. Yes. You see, that's a whole word.
Yes.
It can be a little uncomfortable getting outside your comfort zone. But if you got out your comfort zone and moved to a whole new space,
get ready for the rub.
Get all the way in, because otherwise you will fail to grow. The sowers were given seeds to drop into the ground. It was given the talents. If you bury in it, it's not going to grow. You were allowed the opportunity to be in these new spaces for a reason. Expand yourself.
Isolation quickly will work against you. I never expected to need in a way that my research wouldn't benefit me. Investing before I left helped me to establish connections that I could call on. Not somebody who I was just like, well, I talked to them over here, and then now I need somebody to help me take action. No, these are curated relationships that I check on them, they check on me. I have a need. I don't mind reaching out to ask. Mm-hmm. And so it's new for me because I'm a little selfish with my time. But I'm establishing more time and more intention. I put it on my vision board 2 years ago. I'm growing, I'm learning. I did several people on this, a transition to tech.
Them dogs weren't paying you no attention.
Dr. T knows. I'm just like, my sister. I was like, we haven't talked in a while. And she was like, girl, we good. We're going to find each other. We're going to connect. But that is the new way. And so when I say don't visit Cuenca before watching this, I'm really talking about there are intentional things that you can do to prepare. Prepare your body, prepare your mind. Vibrationally, you all talk about how do you know your place. I was sick as a dog, y'all. Like couldn't get out of bed. First day I got up because LaRahna said, I'm going to the market somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We didn't get into bed till 11:30, 12:30. But I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. My feet are on the ground and I'm listening. And if you've not experienced grounding before, the water, the ground, the wind, the greenery, the mountains, they spoke something very deep to me. So some of this are things that I intentionally do, that we're intentionally doing to find out if this is our place. But this process is also about if you are not, even if you don't feel like you are empathic, sit quietly with yourself in the places that you are visiting. If you give space to the knowing, which many of us have ignored, that intuitive part of yourself that has been quieted because busyness and devices and other things crowd our senses, give yourself the opportunity to be. And you can see in that video that I have, that I put on my Facebook page, baby, I was feeling it. I was feeling the waters. It's the vibration of slow down. You are called to slow down. Now, also, waiting on the bus make you want to, requires that you slow down. Cooking instead of ordering out, you are being called. And if you are open to engaging your world in that, this move abroad experience will give you the opportunity to experience it if you're open to it.
I'm trying to find it. I want to go back to this statement. Hold on a second. It's right. I want to end with this statement.
Yeah.
Because I want to use it to comment to all the y'all look good in your spaces. You've heard D and I say constantly, unfair. You've heard me say that I make decisions by interaction. There's a personal experience that I think is necessary for men in particular. We are show me, introduce me, engage me kind of people. Written information, visual information, that's good. But I think because we have as men, we aren't trained to be open to the energies of the world to ourselves. We often don't connect the way our female partners do. And women say, I saw a picture and it was beautiful and it was great. And she's had heart feels for places that we have yet to get to. I have found a lot of places interesting through reading. We are in our 4th country starting last night, and we'll start giving you updates. The energy is growing as we're traveling. We said a week or so ago that we had to admit that we were unprepared for the places we weren't looking at, Costa Rica and Panama, and the energy, positivity we received from the places themselves and the interaction we had from the people we were there, both the locals and our expat community people. Cuenca is a whole vibe. I said it to you with Steve this past week. Cuenca is a whole vibe, and it is shot dramatically high up on the list. There are some things like the altitude, which could technically be a challenge, depending on how we go about it.
Yeah.
It has put clearly into view some personal choices we need to change in looking at wherever we go, especially places that may have environmental challenges. We've been here less than 24 hours in this little city. I know she's messed up. I'm messed up. Okay. And we hadn't been outside the building. Last night we ran down to the store and they were throwing us out because we got there 10 minutes before it was closing, and they were like, "This is not America, you got to go." But it's sun shining in front of me, just like that when I showed you the view when we were live in Cuenca. There's a mountain in front of me. There are trees in front of me. And that interaction and that joy, it reverberates in your spirit.
Yes.
It reverberates in your organs. It reverberates in your mentality, in your judgment. You might be able to sit here and have an argument and talk your way through it, because there's so much beauty. There's so much potential to what's happening here that you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to burn it. You hear all that? You feeling that? That excites me. That speaks volume to me about it is my life's goal to bring peace back to our lives, to bring quiet back to the spaces that we're in, not because there's nothing to do, but because the energy vibe is about, we'll get there when we get there. we sat in a restaurant almost 3 hours in Costa Rica, not because we were waiting, just because they gave it to us when they had it ready, and we ate till we were done, and they came over and conversated, and that level of slow and easy.
My blood pressure needs that. My anxiety needs that. My history of depression needs that. Rashida Dow, the first interview where I found her on the internet, and she said, I want to be more of the person that I am on vacation in my everyday life. He gonna have to put me on the plane to go back to the States.
No, she's wrong. She's going to put me on the plane. Because I told her when we were on the plane, we hadn't even landed yet. And I was like, I may not be going back with you.
My manager already asked me before I took this trip if I was planning to go back.
The kids are asking if we're coming back. Who
wants to stop feeling rested? Who wants to stop recognizing that real food changes your physiology before you ever start lifting weights, yoga, exercise? I'm talking about I can see a physiological change to my body, and I haven't even had the physical capacity to do any of. I told y'all I ate pizza 3. Did we eat pizza 3 times?
It was more than 3 times.
No, I'm talking about we ordered the pizza 3 times.
Twice in Costa Rica, twice in Panama City.
And normally I don't even eat bread. And I don't eat bread because my digestion is happier with plants only. Whatever that flatbread was I had last night at the vegan restaurant.
Listen.
I was like, I'm having this and some more.
I wrote a review
while we were sitting in the
restaurant.
And went back to do reviews on the places we visited in Cuenca. So I'm telling you, I'm ready for goodness. I'm ready to give grace to this 50-plus-year-old body, because I think just this slower pace, not just great medicine, great healthcare infrastructure, fewer demands, and worry and things like that. I think my life can be lengthened by how I live it. And so I want to give us that advantage. And so it won't be too much time between if he can get me on the plane back to the States and we actually start our journey.
Right.
Because what I have found, and I've taken a career break, I've taken 3 months, I've had time off after having the kids. I've had time. The time gets shorter and shorter because you feel the pressure comes roaring back and your body fights against it. And so be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful in this scouting, because your body will tell you how much it needs it and how much it desires for you to be at peace. So,
Doc, let me say this. For some people, this this openness is easy. God bless them. And I'm an engager, so maybe we make it look a little more natural. Every time we hit live on this screen, we are committing to telling you more than you need to know, because there's some things we think you ought to know.
Yeah.
And we can only share it from our perspective, from our heart place, from our understanding, from our learning. As men, we have been trained culturally to hold it down, hold it back, shut it down, define it shorter, say less, let the ladies talk, whatever. And there is pain here.
Yeah.
There is confusion here.
Not letting it hold us back.
There is tiredness. There is anxiety. There is depression. There is just general energy fatigue. There's life fatigue. And expressing those things too often is attributed to weakness or laziness or irresponsibility or lack of decisiveness. And this takes effort. It takes effort to say that more than just for my wife, I desire more. And so I do this with her for my good. And with the anticipation that as I am better with her.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for the community of people that have surrounded us, encouraged us. You all are a huge reason why this has gone from let me tell you why this is important to me, to actually taking action and doing the thing, and then getting out the door, not just to show you it's possible, but like to be accountable to ourselves. So we got a neighborhood to visit. I have a potential client to see that I'll be supporting her birth virtually, and then coming back this way to help them welcome their little one. So a lot is blooming in this part of the world, and we are so excited to share what we learn, what we know. If you have things that you have also learned about Ecuador, about Cuenca in particular, please share it. We've had several local people also, and I want to say thank you to the local citizens of Cuenca who have come on and commented to our videos that see that we engage respectfully and have just been overjoyed by what we were able to discover in such a short amount of time, and how eager we are to learn more. So please leave those comments. I'm gonna have to be healthier if I'm gonna be changing countries and altitudes and climates as much as we have. But I'm not gonna let it hold me back.
We will enter the information for Living Loving Abroad, for LaRahna's community home in the description. You all are the best.
Y'all
I appreciate
are truly
you.
the best.
We are.
Thank you, Danielle.
We are connecting because it's important to us. Hey.
Yes. Oh, That was such a special experience. That was such a special experience overall.
We will be dumping stuff between here and Instagram.
Yes.
All the way back from Costa Rica. So it's just gonna be hitting. It's just be hitting. So y'all watch, because we've been dropping little bits. We got some karaoke stuff y'all need to watch out for.
Oh my
It's gonna
gosh.
fight through.
Thank God for Panama City.
And you know what? Enjoy your time. Get on the road. Come see these places.
Yes.
They are.
Y'all, Spirit Airlines flies direct to Medellin.
Yeah.
We flew direct
Spirit.
on Southwest and took our 2 checked luggage to San Jose. There are a lot of inexpensive ways. I'm actually
And don't be afraid to ask for courtesy checks on some of those bags for free.
Yes.
Especially if the plane is full. So check the one you need to and carry the rest up to the gate. Sometimes you can get those other ones put on the plane for free.
Let's see, what was I going to say? Why do people have to be peopling? Why do people? Oh, at least he didn't share the other thing.
Yeah, well,
he got me on that.
He got you on live screen.
So
as always,
thank you guys.
Herman D, we're H&D abroad.
Like
we're going out here into these Colombian streets.
Yes.
It's 42 of y'all on here right now. Hit like. If you're new to our channel, subscribe.
And welcome.
In the future, don't forget to
#replay.
We do consultations. So there's other information you want to know personally. Set up a consultation with us. And we'll be back here in a couple of days, probably.
Oh yeah, because we're going to be talking about our quality of life indicators and how the different countries we visited, how it's looking, and what we might need to go back to clarify on, so that your trip is you're better prepared for your next scouting trip. So see you on Wednesday.
Later, folks.
Bye for now.